Hey y'all, welcome to Criminally Creative, a channel about my various creative endeavors. Today is Sunday, January 21st, 2024, and this is episode 54. I had to look. If you are new here, I appreciate you checking me out, and if you are returning, I appreciate you coming back. I've had a slow increase in subscribers, but I'm still not quite to 500. So if we'll get there eventually, hopefully. But anyway, I just enjoy doing this. So no matter how many of you are watching, hopefully those of you that are here enjoy what you see, and we'll come back again. So today is a little bit of knitting, a little bit of crochet actually too, but mostly cross stitch, just to show you what I've been up to for the past 3 weeks. But before that, let's get to hearsay, which there's not a lot to talk about. Mostly I last recorded on, I think, Tuesday the 2nd. I went back to work on Thursday the 4th, which was hard after 2 weeks away from work. Work is not crazy busy right now. We're in the process of planning some interim study committee meetings and stuff. So I'll have some kind of like half-day long meetings over the next couple of months. And there's always things to do, but it's just less crazy and less stressful at the moment. So other than that, not much going on. Last weekend, there was a quilt show here in town. So my mom came down for the day, or for a couple hours. We just went to the quilt show, wandered around for an hour or so, and went and had lunch. That's really about it. My husband's been watching a lot of football because it's playoffs. I love football, but I'm more of a college football person, so I don't really pay much attention to the whole NFL thing. I guess that's about it. I've got to go to a memorial service next weekend for my college roommate's father, who passed away right before Thanksgiving. And so that's it. Nothing extremely exciting going on. I've been doing a lot of stitching and some knitting and crafting and a little bit of cleaning up. You can see the actual top of my cutting table, which is amazing. If you've watched the last few episodes, you may or may not have noticed that it was just piled high with stuff that needed to be put away. All that was finally put away. That doesn't mean this room is clean, because if you could see the floor, there's still clutter everywhere, but it's a little bit cleaner than it was. So I'm hoping to really need some more cross-stitch project bags. So I needed the cutting table clean so I could cut some fabric. So we'll see if that happens anytime soon. But let's move on to the crafting. I have one verdict this time, and it is cross-stitch. It is the July Quaker. If you follow me, you know that I'm doing the Quaker series from the Heart Needle Art. And I try to do one a month. The July one was my December Quaker. I didn't quite finish it in December, but I finished it in early January. And I have the next one on the Q-snap on the same piece of fabric, so I'm trying to hold it up so you can see July that I finished. Actually, you can see June next to it. And I did this. This is from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. I'm sorry for the wrinkles, but it's been rolled up in the Q-snap. And I did it with called for colors. It is on 40 count coloring cotton over the moon fabric. And that's about it for that. Put that there for the moment. I need that again in a minute when we get to court and session. But anyway, so that's the only verdict I have this time. We'll move on to court and session, and I will do the knitting first because there's less of that than there is of the cross stitch. Excuse me, I have been working on the Stennis sweater by Laura Ayler. I'll put a picture in of what it will look like when it's finished. I am doing this in deep dyed yarn. The base is called Steel, which is her DK weight, and the colorway is Mirror, on a US 6 4mm needle. And when you last saw it, I was here, where the little, what is that? It's a RBG cat stitch marker. I have finished the body, and last night I finished the first sleeve. So I have one more sleeve to go, and this will be finished. So My goal is to finish it before the end of January. It has been really, really cold here lately, as it has been in a lot of the country, I know. But we have been like, I think yesterday it got 1 degree above freezing, like 33 degrees at the highest temperature. That is very unusual for us. It has been down in like the 20s and maybe even the high teens some at night. We have not had any snow, at least not in my area. I think the mountains of North Carolina have gotten some. But anyway, I'm hoping to finish that by the end of January, get it blocked. I'm hoping it's a little short in the body, or a little shorter than I prefer in the body right now, but it is superwash, so I think it's going to, superwash tends to stretch some, so I think it's going to stretch to the length that I want it when I block it. That is in a bag by the Fat Squirrel. So hopefully that will be finished in the next week. I don't think I had started this the last time that I recorded. I didn't write down what date I started. This is a cowl called Summer Wind by Irish Girly Knits. And I think I have a picture here somewhere that won't show a pattern. And I found this, my knitting group had a Christmas party, and we do a white elephant exchange where my gift was like a skein of, a thing of yarn, and I found that pattern to go with the yarn. And I had a couple skeins of this yarn in different colorways, so I decided I wanted to make one too. This is, the yarn is Wools. She's German, and I never know if I'm supposed to pronounce that. Voles. It's W-O-L-L-E''S. It's Wool's Color Changing Cotton, and that's what's left of the skein. It's a really different yarn because it's 4 strands that are not plied. It's a fingering weight. 4 strands that are not plied, and basically, let's see if I can show you what I've done. This is a much longer cowl, but it's up on the needles. So I don't know if you can see how it starts off just blue and it's shifting to this kind of grayish slate color. The yarn, trying to find the end of my working yarn so I can kind of show you, is 4 plies. And like right now I'm in the solid gray, so it's 4 plies of just the gray. But what it does is, so it's 4 plies of just that gray right now. And at some point, plies is not right. It's strands is what I'm trying to say. It is unplied. It is 4 strands. And what will happen in a little bit is one of those strands will change to this next color of that lighter blue. And you'll knit with 3 strands of this with 1 strand of that for a while, and then eventually it'll change to 2 strands of this and 2 strands of that. And then 3 strands of this and 1 strand of that till it's eventually 4 strands of that. I hope that makes sense. So it creates a nice gradient, subtle gradient effect where you're going from like that color. See that? So I'm fully in 4 strands of this color now, but it slowly got there. The only downside of working with this yarn is because it is unplied. You have to pay a little more attention because it's easy to miss one of the strands when you're knitting, and what that results in is you having to kind of pull an extra strand out. The yarn ends up a little uneven. You have to kind of play with it to keep it even. And what I do is if I get to a point where that excess has gotten too big for whatever reason, I will cut and re-knot again to make it even again, because it just kind of gets irritating. But it's not unpleasant to work with. You just got to kind of pay attention and get in the hang of it. But anyway, I had given a skein of yarn, that yarn is my white elephant gift, and a friend of mine got it, and she had started knitting that cowl, and I really liked it, and I was like, ooh, I need to pull out one of my skeins of that yarn and do it. So I have. So that has been my pocketbook project lately instead of a pair of socks. So that's getting worked on little by little. And I've already thrown it back there. You may or may not have seen, there was a Grinch Christmas bag I've got it in. It's from Silver Shed USA. I thought I would also show you, because I've been working on it a little bit. This is in another big Fat Squirrel bag. I have been working a little bit on my corner-to-corner blanket, which I think I showed you way back when I started it. But that's been a while, so I figured I'd show you where I am. This is, sorry, I got fuzz in my mouth. There's several patterns for this. I'm kind of just watched a couple YouTube videos and some patterns and started, you know, kind of morphed together. But this is crochet, and it's corner to corner, so it's getting a decent size. So you start basically, I don't know if I can find the right point, at this point, and you're crocheting this way. So I'm crocheting like this, but the blanket will be like this. And when you get it to where you want it wide enough, then you start decreasing on the other end, so it turns into a big rectangle or square, whatever you want. So I've gotten a decent amount done. I'm making this with just leftover fingering weight scraps held double. So I'm marling it. So there's 2 yarns that aren't generally the same color, but, you know, hopefully kind of go together throughout. And when I finish one ball, I just start another ball with whatever the second ball is going. So there's no real rhyme or reason or plan to it, other than I try to, you know, not have the yarns clash too bad. And I try to periodically make sure I'm not doing too much of it. It's all like bland and neutral versus bright and whatever, you know, try to spread my colors out a little bit. So that's it for the yarn talk. If you're only here for the cross stitch, sorry. And let me see if I can get, I'll leave that there for now. I'm sorry, I've got one thing out of order of my stack, so I'll put it down there. Anyway, so let's move on to the Court and Session cross stitch. First up is one of my Whip Go goals for January. And I think if you've watched my whip parade, I think that worked pretty well, where I just put all the pictures on the screen rather than even showing you the ones that I had hard copies of. It seemed to speed things up a little bit. I didn't get any comments that I talked too fast. My friend Michelle kindly told me she thought the pace was okay. So I think I'm going to stick to that even when I have a hard copy, unless I just really want to zoom in and show you something, because that seemed to work well. So as I'm talking, if I may not remember to say, here's a picture of, but even if I don't say it, there should be a picture flashing up of what the final project will look like. And if it's something I've worked on prior to this, it should show you what it looked like the last time you saw it. I may think to say that, I may not. So first up in this bag made out of Teresa Kovic fabric, made by the Brass Button. No, I'm sorry, Creative Carol Designs. This is a Creative Carol Designs. And it does have Teresa Kovic fabric on the inside too. This is my Whip Go call, which was number 9 for January. It is Let Love Rain by Teresa Kovic. This is out of her book called Let Love Rain, and I am doing the sampler, the big sampler that's there. And my Whip Go goals are 10 hours on every project. I just finished the 10 hours on this last night, and here is where I am. I'm getting a lot of glare back on my... Sorry for moving you. I'm getting a lot of glare back, and I can't tell if it's glaring for you too. Let's see. There we go. Maybe that's better. So I did 10 hours, which gave me 2,164 stitches, and I'm currently at about 11.9%. I started this on May 7th, 2022. I didn't realize I had this in the Q-snap where this part was rolled up, and didn't realize till I took it out last night that previously I had lightened. Let's see if I can do this without dropping it. I had lightened the inside of this flower, but I did the one in the middle in the called for. So I'm going to leave it for now because there's another one of those big flowers on the right side, and so I will lighten it, and then I will decide whether I need to lighten the middle or whether it can just be a design feature. So, I am modifying the colors in this a little bit to add some more blue. The words I'm doing in a deep blue that I'm adding, that the words are supposed to be in brown. I also changed the door on that house to the same deep blue instead of the brown that was called for. So I'm just adding some more blue into it then to make it. I love the blue and brown, but I wanted a little more blue in it. And that, I didn't mention, is on 40 count flax is what I'm stitching that on. My other Whip Go Call, number 22 for the month, is in this brass button bag that has Beauty and the Beast on it. This is Sleeping Princess by Mirabilia. I have not finished my goal on this one. I've done a little under 4 hours. And so here's where it is now. Try to remember to hold these a little to the right, because if I can, I can put the what it looked like before on my left, your right, I think. So I've just done most of that, a little bit more of this, and most of all of that darker stuff. I don't think I've done any of that before. So I still need to do about another 6 hours on that this week. I started that October 7th, 2023. I've done 583 stitches, and that one I just do in Good Notes. I'm not sure exactly what percentage that one is. So those are my 2 Whip Go calls. My project that I have broken up is in another bag by Creative Carol. This is the project that I have broken up into 12 parts to finish this year. This is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. And I have started this on January 22nd, 2021. So it is one of my older projects. And I have done the January part. I've broken this up, and so I've done this little part up here this month. And that was 1,464 stitches. I broke it up more just kind of visually, not by stitch count, but I did try to get approximately about the same. So that is where it is now. So the part that I did this month finished up, I think these 3. Yeah, it finished up South Carolina, Virginia, New York, Rhode Island. So next month I will finish these last 2 rows that get it flush with the Starfield, and then we'll go back over and start working on the rest of it. And so that will be done by the end of the year. I'm doing that on 28 count, Picture This plus Ale, which is the called for. My focus full coverage for the year that my goal is to do 2,000 stitches is in this Ruth Bader Ginsburg bag that was made by Lynn X Stitch Creates. It is, the focus project is Kingdom of Books. I had this as a Russian kit from it translates to Make It With Your Own Hands. And my goal for this is to get at least 2,000 stitches a month. I started this around August 31st, 2016. I wasn't tracking as well then, so I'm not sure of the exact date, but it's somewhere around then. 2,000 stitches a month will give me 24,000 stitches, which will not finish this. It will get me probably a little over halfway done. I think I will still have like 26,000 stitches or something. I don't remember exactly, but so I did do, this is on the 14 count kit Ada. I am doing the whole background and everything. And I did 2,000 stitches this month, which was, so this was done like even up to here. So I've started working down this way. So that's 2,000 stitches. And I am trying to, like, I kind of block, this is like a the side of this that's like a solid book. So that's how I kind of cut it off so that I can work down kind of book by book as I go. And I think it's going to take me, based on that, I'm guessing it's going to take me like not quite 4 months worth of stitching. We'll get this done and then I'll move over. So, because this one's a little wider than a lot of these other books. So hopefully I'll get a few more done by the end of the year. I like stitching on this. You know, it's like 3 strands, so it's different. Well, most of it's 3 strands. Like in here behind this fence, some of that was 1 strand. So it's kind of like a Dimensions Gold kit where it has different varying of strands and stuff. So that was my January progress on that. Next up is in this bag by, I'm not sure who makes them. I got it from Stitchery Express on Facebook. This is Moons Out, Brunes Out by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And this is a project that I'm doing for the first quarter in the Halloween Stitchers group. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Anyway, sadly, the group is... Anna has decided she's got to close the group at the end of the first quarter for, you know, reasons of life, and I understand that. I had picked 4 projects to do, 1 each quarter for a challenge that was going on in that group. I will probably keep that plan for myself. But after March, there won't be like the official group for it to be in anymore. I started this December 11th, 2022. It is on 36 count to dye for fabrics in Deja Blue. And I did 1,012 stitches this month. My goal for this, the requirement for the challenge that it's part of currently is at least 400 stitches a month. My personal goal is 1,000 stitches a month on it, which in the quarter will give it 3,000 stitches. So, I got that M totally done, except for backstitch. I think there's a little backstitch in this. I can't remember exactly, but I got the M stitching done. I did a little bit more on the witch's hat. It is mostly done except for the buckle on it. Did a little bit of the moon. When I started this, I worked over to the moon and the witch so I could kind of work on that at the same time as the words. So as I go back to it this month, I'll probably do the next letter and then work over and do a little bit more on the witch and then work my way down from that. I am trying to do this year Mill Hill Monday, where every Monday I work on whatever Mill Hill kit I have going. At least 100 stitches. It doesn't have to be like the only thing I do on Monday. I'm having a hard time remembering that I'm supposed to do that on Mondays because I've just never really worked that way. So a couple times, well, there's only been a few Mondays, but like I think last week I did it, a week before Martin Luther King week. Monday the 15th was a holiday, and I totally forgot, so I did it on Tuesday. But anyway, the one I'm currently working on is Cardinal Tree. And I have worked on this at least 2 Mondays. Monday the 1st, I didn't work on it, but I think I've worked on it every Monday or maybe Tuesday since then. And like I said, my goal is to do at least 100 stitches. And I have done, so far this month, I've done 406 stitches on this. I started this December 28th, 2023. Let me hold it down here so you can see the actual stitching. And that's currently at about 34%. So, these are fun, but I hold them in my hand to do it, and after a while it gets kind of irritating to hold it and stitch with one hand since I've become a two-handed stitcher. So, but I figure, you know, working a little bit every Monday on it, we'll get one done every, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks or so, and I'll get some done this year. So that's all for the projects that you had seen before. And now let me show you a couple of new starts. This one is I mentioned this before, I think. This is a stitch a day, and this is just in a Amazon bag right now because I need to make some project bags. This is a Stitch a Day by Morning Glory Needleworks. And what this is a little square for every 2 days. And the outside, well, all of it. Generally, the outside is a specialty stitch, and then the inside is a specialty stitch. So it's really been neat to, I almost dropped this, to learn some new specialty stitches. I work on this every Sunday. And because originally, originally I was thinking, wow, that would be just a few little stitches to do every day, and that'd be kind of annoying to have to pull it out every day. It surprisingly takes me longer to do it than I originally thought. I'm still just doing it every Sunday, because usually I can knock it out in an hour and a half, 2 hours, because I do either 3 blocks or 4 blocks, since each outside is a day, each inside is a day. You know, there's 7 days in a week. That's 3.5 blocks a week. But I can't do just the outside and not do the inside. So one week I'll do 4 and the next week I'll do 3. So I have not worked on it yet today, but this is the first 2 weeks of January. And I'm doing this on 28 count Lugana from Mystic Fabrics in the Time Worn colorway. My friend Peggy gave me this for my birthday last year. And, she's supposed to be starting it. I don't know if she has yet or not. But that is about 400 stitches. Of course, you know, because I do count them, even though I just have to count like one leg or one movement as a half a stitch or whatever. So I will work on that later today. Next up is in a bag that I made that the interfacing got all messed up on, so I pulled it out. So it's a really floppy dragonfly bag. And this is the August Quaker that I'm currently working on. I started this the 9th of this month. I'm still, even though the 7 on the 8th for Julia is over officially, I'm still starting these on the 8th of the month and trying to finish them by the end of the month. And but I'm getting a little burnt out on doing them all, you know, just constantly working on them. So what I'm doing this month is I'm doing 2 strands a day, most days. And every once in a while I'll do a little bit more, because like last night I did more because I wanted to finish this one motif, you know, that sort of thing. And that's working pretty well, because I do a couple strands and I move on to something else, and I'm making steady progress, and it will be done in plenty of time. I have currently done 2,015 stitches on this, and I'm at 70.7%. I'm doing this on the same 40 count Color and Cotton Over the Moon that the July Quaker was on. You can see this is what I was holding up earlier. So yeah, last night I finished this motif. So I haven't actually gotten to the word August on this one yet, but it's down here somewhere. So that's August, and after that there will be just 4 more. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where to put that, because I need to put the rest of the Q-snap back on it. Sorry about that. And then my last new start, which is not on my schedule, but doesn't really count, because this is a round robin that I'm doing with most of my table mates from Table 14 at the Queen City Stitch Retreat. 5 of us are doing it. Janet from Janet Jabber has too much going on in her life to participate right now, and I totally get that. But the rest of us, me, Anne from Anne Craft All the Things, who has a YouTube channel, although she hasn't recorded in a long time, so if you're watching Anne, I'm giving you grief again. Debbie from Alan Gator Stitcher, who also has a YouTube and has put up a video recently. And Jess, Stitches of Sass, I think she had a YouTube at one point, but does no longer records, but she's Stitches of Sass on Instagram. And Sally, who is, I have to look, she is shayes2124 on Instagram. And I do a double take every time I see her name, because my maiden name is Hayes. So I was Susan Hayes, so I was S. Hayes for so long. And so every time I see Sally, anyway, I am going to show you a physical copy of this, because I haven't taken a picture. But anyway, let me back up. We're doing a round robin, and we decided to do a tiny town round robin. So everybody is picking their own Heart and Hand Tiny Town that they want. And we stitched the first, we figured out that 30 to 35 stitches across would, you know, get us the 5 of us so that we all did a part of it. So basically it's going to fluctuate a little bit depending on which one you're doing. And so basically you just do kind of the next section that's at least 30 stitches across. And when it gets back around to you, you may have a little bit more to do, but not much. But anyway, I chose Patriotic Tiny Town. And I think we're going to have a good mix because I think Anne chose Honey. Debbie chose Blooming, I think. And I feel like Jess said she was doing the Valentine's Day one, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I think we'll have a good mix, but it doesn't matter if they're duplicated. Anyway, so that's the one that I chose. I'm doing it with the 32 count Fabrics by Stephanie Angel Wing. And I did sort of a floss conversion. I pulled the called for flosses that I had, and the ones that I didn't, I did a fancy floss conversion for the most part, except for the one color that's just backstitch only, which I'm doing the DMC. And so I have done my first little part, if I can find it. Done my first little part, and I send to Anne, and who I will see in a couple weeks. So I'm just taking it to her. So that's the first little part of mine. And I just left the whole fat quarter because I use Q-snap, so I like having the extra fabric, and hopefully nobody else will mind that. I will cut it off when it's done and gets back to me. So that is a new start, but it's not. So as we go around, over the year, you will see the others versions as I work on them. We allowed ourselves plenty of times, like 2 months. Like I technically don't have to have that mailed and Anne until the end of February, but I'm going to see her the first weekend of February, so I'm just going to take it to her. So about every 2 months, and if everybody's life stays on track and we're able to keep on track, we will all get ours back like early November and have a couple months to finish up any last stitching, do any back stitching if it wasn't done, and theoretically fully finish it by the end of the year, but you know, I'm not always great at that. So anyway, that is all the stitching I have to show you. On the docket, I've got about another 6 hours on Sleeping Princess to get done for the end of the month. I will finish August Quaker by the end of this month. And I am hoping, I've gotten a lot done this month with my goals and stuff, but I haven't yet touched anything that's not on my goal list. So I'm hoping to get to Good Company. That's next up in my head, because I think if I can get a few days on that this month, I can finish that. So I'm hoping to get that finished and maybe even have a little time to touch something else. We'll see. So that's the plan for the rest of the month. Stashing for retirement. I will be back in just a moment with that. Okay, stashing for retirement. Don't have a ton this time. I'm trying to be a little more judicious about what I'm buying because I have so much. Excuse me. Stitch Me fabric for December. This was 40 count Into the Veil. 40 count linen is what I get. It's very light green. It's really pretty. It's a nice neutral, even though it's green. And the January fabric of the month for Oak Crown Studios, I get a 32 count Lugana on this. This is called Shell. Really pretty. The silk floss that I ordered, I've got this in a bag because I've picked out fabric for it, or possible fabric. Silk floss that I ordered for the Anzac, Long Dog Sampler Anzac that I'm going to start on Leap Day. I got, no, let me back up. Let me grab this one first. Sorry for the crinkle. I've still got these in the bags they came in. So PR 38, I think, is going to be my main. The blues and the gray and the green. And then I also bought this variegated green, which is PR 136. So I may add some more green. I thought those went well together. At least they did on the computer, and they ended up. And I think what I'm going to do it on, I wanted a little color behind it. I didn't want just white. Is this Lars Fabrics Brain Fog, which is a blue, but it's not just a blue. I just don't know how to describe it. My other option was this Into the Veil from Be Stitch Me, but I think that's going to end up being a little too green. And I think that this, my whole thing about it is I'll put a picture of what Anzac looks like here again. You see there's kind of like a shape of Australia, New Zealand, and the animals and stuff. So I want it kind of like earthy, but like the globe earth with the like blue-green, not brown earthy, if that makes any sense. So I think the kind of bluish tone of this, it's light enough that the silk will shine, but it will, with all this green, it will keep some blue to it, if that makes any sense. So let me know what you think. I'm taking this with me to Barefoot in a couple weeks, just to see what they have, to see if there's a better color that a color that I like better. But based on what I had in my stash in a 40 count, I think that's what I like best so far. So we'll see if I come up with another idea when I've got some more fabric in front of me to look at. But and let's see what else. I showed you last time that I had gotten my December Atomic Ranch from Stitch New England, which was a soft fur. And last year I got 32 count from her. And I love this soft fur so much I ordered a piece of 40 count. No idea what I'll do with it, but I thought it was a really good, it's a really good color, not only for Christmas, but some other stuff. And also when I ordered that, I got When Witches Go Riding with Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And I got all the fancy floss for that. And then they were having a thing at the time, if you spend a certain amount of money, you got a special treat or surprise. And that surprise was the 2024 Book of Days, which I actually will not use because I am a Philo-Flax planner girl and I keep all my stitching and stuff in my Philo-Fax. But I'm going to take this and give this away next weekend at the retreat I'm at. I think this is from 123 Stitch. I don't remember. I've had it a little while. This is an older, what year is this from? Let's see if I can figure out what year it's from. This is Plum Street American Sampler. And I'm trying to, 2015, it's up at the top. It's a 2015 pattern that I just kind of became aware of, or I don't know. And so I went ahead and got that, and I bought all the fancy floss for it. I don't know when I'll start it, but it says, give me a calm and thankful heart from every murmur free. The blessings of thy grace impart, preserve our liberty. Sic semper tyrannis. I think that means always without tyranny, from my little bit of Latin that I took in undergraduate. And then the reason I think this came from 123 Stitch is because I got the Pinecone Gnome that they had not had in stock when I ordered the rest of them. And so I think that came from them. And that's all the haul. Not, like I said, not a lot this time. So anyway, calendar, I am going to the Barefoot Needle Arts Beach Retreat in 2 weeks, February 2nd through 4th. So if you will be there, please, if I don't know you already, please say hello. I know there will be several other YouTubers there. I know that Beth from the Steadfast Stitcher will be there. I believe that Michelle McGraw from... Michelle McGraw. What is her? I can't think of what her YouTube channel name is. And maybe Stacy from 911 Stitch will be there. Stacy was there last February, and I haven't seen whether or not she's coming or not, but I think maybe she is. Jan Hicks is apparently going to be there. And I'm sure that there are other, the Red Cross Stitcher, Appalachian Stitcher. Anyway, there's several other YouTubers that will be there that are all mostly kind of local, you know, to the North Carolina, South Carolina area. But anyway, it's a good group of people. I know that Anne, Craft All the Things, will be there, so that's when I'm going to take her to the Tiny Town, and my friend Peggy will be there, and Amy and Memory, who own the shop, are great, and it's a lot of fun. It's a smallish retreat, which is nice. I do know in October they're moving it, I think, to a location that will allow them to have a few more people, although I'm not sure how many more people. So, anyway, that is really the only thing definitely planned. I may go to Carolina Fiber Fest in early March in Raleigh. That is a Friday and Saturday event. I did not make it at all last year just because work was crazy. That's the event that I used to be on the board of that I had just had to step back because I just don't have time anymore. My only hesitation to go is I'm really trying not to buy a lot of yarn because I'm just not knitting as much. And I have a room full of yarn. I mean, this room is full of yarn. And I have no willpower, though. I know when I'm standing in front of Robin's Promise or Fiber Studio Yarns to Die For or Beach Bunny Yarns or any of those that I'm going to go, ooh, pretty, and buy a bunch of yarn. So that's my only hesitation about going. If I do go, it will probably be Friday afternoon. I probably just will take off work a little early and go Friday afternoon and limit my time there. So, the only other thing I might attend is my friend Michelle is going to go up to Maryland Sheep and Wool in early May. Is that when it is? Or I think it's the first weekend in May. I haven't been since we went in 2018, 2019. We were supposed to go in 2020. It got canceled. So it's been several years since we've been. I really want to go. Again, my only hesitation is I just don't want to buy all the yarn that I know that I don't have the willpower. So I don't know if I could channel Michelle because she's always really good about just buying a few things. We'll see. But so I might go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I probably will decide that a little closer to time. So that's really the only definite plans I have for trips and stuff. My husband, I mentioned before, my husband and I are planning a trip, and it looks like we're going to be going kind of later in September to Wyoming, Montana area to go to Yellowstone, Grand Teton, and Glacier. Tell me if I'm crazy for trying to do all three in a week. I found a thing online that said that basically we can fly into the little airport near Glacier, do Glacier, spend a day or so driving down, do a day or two in Yellowstone, do a day in Grand Teton, and do it all in like a 7-day period and not be completely rushed off our feet. We'll see. We're not planning to do any big hikes because my knee just won't handle that. So it would be all driving. We might do like a horseback ride or something. But it's not like we're going to spend, need to spend all day doing one thing at any of them. So we'll see. So I'm starting to like figure out the details of where we should stay. And I'm looking at plane flights, which are not inexpensive because you're not flying into major airports. And decide like for the return trip, do we fly out of Jackson Hole area or do we actually drive down to Salt Lake, which makes the flight a little cheaper, but means we got to drive 4 or 5 hours, So right now I'm kind of trying to figure out the schedule and balance all that before I book anything. But I need to make some decisions about at least booking places to stay in the next month or two. So, I've forgotten, somebody commented after one of my previous videos, and I can't remember off the top of my head who that was, that they could give me some suggestions, and I was supposed to see them at Stitching in Durham yesterday, and I ended up not going because, one, it was freezing cold, and I just didn't feel like driving up there. I just couldn't bring myself to do it yesterday, so I missed seeing them, and I apologize, I can't remember what your name is off the top of my head, but if you're watching again and you have suggestions, since I didn't get to see you, if you want to comment or email me at the email that's in the link tree below. I appreciate it. And also, I did not mention, there's always a Google spreadsheet below that has more information on the cross-stitch projects if I forgot to say something. I am Legal Eagle on Ravelry. I don't think I said any of this at the beginning. I'm so bad. Legal Eagle on Ravelry if you want more information on my knitting and crochet projects. And you can find me on Instagram as Criminally Creative Podcast. So anyway, with all that, I will get out of here and let y'all go on. And hopefully I will see you again in, won't be 2 weeks because I'll be at the retreat. It will probably be 3 weeks because I'll probably do it either the week after or the weekend after the retreat. So see you again in a few weeks. Bye, y'all.